Hey everyone, Updog here, and today I got a special guest, Run 7. How's it going, Run?
Hey, pretty good. How you doing?
Good. This is a continuation of the series that I do called The Origin Story. So we're going to find out all about Run's origin story here. And stay tuned for the next installment of this. I will have an extra special guest, CM Archangel. So make sure to check out my channel for that too. Let's dive into Run's story here. All right, so Run, how many days have you played Marvel Strike Force?
I should have been prepared for that question. Hold on, I got
That's
the
okay.
game brought up. I remember I came in during the first round of Asteroid M when Magneto was coming to the game,
Okay.
and that's Captain Marvel was all the rave.
Is the D
1,700 days it says. 1,700
1700?
days.
Nice, nice, awesome. And Captain Marvel actually ended up being the DD2 like reward for the community, right? Back then.
Uh, Captain
Remember
Marvel
that?
did?
Yeah. Did you say it was Captain Marvel that came into the game when you started, or?
Yeah, she was she was like the most powerful character in the game. Everybody thought
Mm-hmm.
she was broken because of her
Okay.
ultimate was so big and her passive that did damage and
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Well, that takes us back quite a ways then. um,
Yeah.
did you take any breaks in the game at all, or stop
No.
playing, or?
I have never missed a login since I started playing, and I think there was only one time when I didn't get all 10 war attacks in for my alliance.
Oh wow, nice. Pretty
That was just recently actually. It was kind of like, wow, I've never actually not got all 10 in.
so pretty consistent alliance member. It sounds like.
Yeah, I try to do my part.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. Well, what drew you to the game initially then?
The Marvel IP, of course. It's what I'm always excited about is the Marvel characters and everything. I started playing it never having played a hero collector before, and so right away I was like, wow, this is a lot of fun. I really like collecting these characters and building them up. I want to try and excel at this because I could see right away that just because it said Spider-Man or Iron Man, they weren't necessarily the best characters in the game, even though they have the name brand recognition and everything.
Right, right.
So, so I immediately started watching some content creators to get some tips and ideas, and my game just took off from there.
Nice, nice. Did you like watch some MCU movies and then just felt like you wanted to play this game, or where did you first see it?
Uh, Honestly, it was like a Play Store pop up,
Okay.
and I clicked on it. I didn't think much of it because there's a couple of Marvel games out there, and I've clicked
Right.
on those before, and I was like, I don't really like this. So I didn't expect to get hooked, but for whatever reason, it just got its claws in me right away, and I wanted to excel my play. And at the time, there was a gold calendar. I remember this; it was one of the first gold calendars, and I didn't know that that was like an unusual thing to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had this huge amount of gold in my account. I think at the time it was like 40 million gold, which was a lot back then.
Yeah.
And I was blowing through it like crazy because I just thought it's a resource you have plenty of, not knowing
Right.
that that gold calendar was really unusual. And so unfortunately, I built a lot of fluff my first couple of weeks in game. And
Gotcha.
then after looking at the content creators, I was like, oops.
Yeah. Yep. We all make those early mistakes, but luckily these days we have plenty of content creators that give out a lot of great advice, as you know, since you watch them almost every day. so
Yes, yes.
what keeps you wanting to play the game then? Been playing for so
I'm
long.
definitely here for the community. Right now, the game's in a great place, and I'm actually having a lot of fun playing it again. But there have been several times along the way that I was just here for the drama of the community complaining about how bad the game was. Like at its lows, when we had so many players quitting and alliances collapsing left and right, to
Right.
Don O'Mac walking away, things like that. And I wasn't really enjoying the game, but I was here because all my friends were here because I had alliance mates counting on me and everything.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it's definitely the community that keeps me here. But right now, community or no, I'm really enjoying the game and having a lot of fun in all the different game modes.
Awesome. Is there any character that's not in the game right now that you'd like to see? I think I know the answer
Oh,
to
that's an
this,
easy
but
one. That's Sentinels. I really
okay.
want the Sentinels to come to the game in all their variety.
Right.
I think there's lots of opportunities to make them. I think that you could even make some with a minion tag, and they'd be just as powerful as any regular character, but they would have the minion tag. And then Scopely wouldn't have to work so hard about changing the tag on the that last Scourge that everybody was so upset about, because
Right.
they could bring in a set of minions in there and have fun building those characters because they
Yep.
would be actually powerful.
What mode would you like the Sentinels to be if they came?
Honestly, I'd like the Sentinels to be a battle world team.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you always want every character to be good everywhere, but
Right.
that's not how it works.
Yeah.
But if they were good in battle world, and I could use them in one other game mode, be it uh, War, Crucible. I doubt they'd ever make Arena, but
Yeah.
even if you could throw them in raids for a future tech team or something, that'd be kind of cool too.
Yeah.
But the idea of them going into Battle World, there's a lot of talk about mutant things going on in Battle World. I mean, it's all
hmm
subject to change, of course,
Right.
but I think they would make a fantastic fit into that game mode. I'd love to see them come
Yeah.
in as a 6 or 7 piece team with lots of interchangeability.
hmm
I mean, ideally, it'd be like, hey, give me like 3 pieces that can go anywhere and have wide open tags, and then multiple sets of 2 that could make them playable for a raid, playable for war, playable for crucible, playable for battle world.
Yeah.
So you could just swap in a 4th and or 5th and have a lot of interchangeability there. I think that'd be really cool.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they could bring them in as like a counter. If the mutants end up being big in Battle World at the beginning, they could definitely bring them in as this counter for them. So that'd be kind of cool.
Oh, and make them a soft counter to Extreme in Crucible or
Yeah.
something like that. I mean, they're there to stop mutants, so
Right.
that's where you would kind of be looking at the mutants in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Well, since you said that Marvel Strike Force was your first hero collector, one of my first collectors when I started playing games was Pokemon. But could you give us a little bit of a brief recap on, your history with gaming? Like, what was your first experience with gaming? What kind of games did you play?
Yeah, sure. I grew up on the NES, and I really fell in love with video games because of the NES. Just standard Mario Brothers.
Okay.
And of course, then they moved to the Super NES, and I was a huge fan of both Street Fighter and F-Zero Racing. Those are
Mhm.
some great games. Plus, there were some side-scrolling pilot games. I can't even remember their names, but like R-Type and a bunch of different side-scrolling shooters that were fun.
Mhm.
I eventually went back to the Atari to see what I had missed.
Uh-huh.
I didn't like that experience. I guess because I was born into 8-bit, going back to the blocks just wasn't any fun for
Yeah.
me. I didn't enjoy that experience. I've tried repeatedly to go back to those super old school, and it's just not for me. I like new. I like when it looks good. We took a look at Lord of the Rings, the hero collector that was supposed to
Right.
compete with Marvel Strike Force,
Yep.
and it was taking a step back graphically, and I couldn't touch that game because it just, if there's something shinier, I want to move in that direction.
Right.
Ultimately, I ended up, let's see, Doom, the entire Doom
Mm.
franchise, all the way through and including Doom 3.
Right.
I really liked those games. A lot of people don't like Doom 3, but I did. And then Doom Eternal, it's fun and all, but it's a little too much fast-paced first-person shooter.
Yeah.
And though I was huge into Halo, and we would daisy chain TVs together through a
Right.
house, and a whole bunch of sweaty dudes just
Yep.
doing Halo tournaments through the night. Super
Yep.
fun, love that. But finally, we land into Elder Scrolls and Fallout
Yep.
and the world of Bethesda.
Yeah.
And I have, like, ever since like Morrowind, I was hooked on Elder
Oh,
Scrolls
okay.
and just love that whole franchise of games. I'm currently playing Starfield right now and loving every minute of it. They just had a new update making the game much better. So
Oh, nice.
those kind of adventure games that I can really sink my teeth into and that
Right.
look amazing, those are fun for me.
Yeah, they suck up a lot of hours when you play those kind of games.
Oh yes, yeah, a whole lot.
So yeah, I knew we had similar gaming experiences, and I didn't know the full extent, but yeah, pretty much word for word exactly how it went for me. The Atari thing, I had an NES and an Atari growing up, and I would just kind of go back and forth between those two, get bored of one and go with the other one. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, pretty close experiences for both of us. That's kind of cool to know that. So what were your influences growing up to you know make you the person you are today, Ron? Other than gaming.
Uh, I would say kind of like that. I think there's a country song that says the crooked path I walked brought me here, kind
Hmm.
of thing. Um, I had a lot of people in my life growing up who I watched what they did wrong to learn what I should do right,
Yep.
unfortunately. My parents got divorced when I was younger, and it was a very ugly situation. Um, and I had some people who I looked up to when I was younger, and they ended up turning out to be harboring some pretty dark secrets and were actually some pretty horrible people. And that experience of looking up to someone and then finding out the truth about your heroes was somewhat devastating. So
Right.
honestly, the influencers in my life were the negative things that impacted me and the people around me, and I learned from other people's mistakes. And
Right.
I think that's why a lot of times I really look to ask people questions and get information from people and learn through other people's experiences. And I'm very open minded about how other people view the world, and I like to try and put myself in their shoes and see the world through their eyes. And then after I've gathered a lot of different perspectives, then I like to sit down and make a conclusion. And you could call me a flip flopper or not having my own identity or whatever, but I do believe that a lot of people in this world are so set in their own ideas that we can't grow from each other's experiences. And I
Yeah.
don't want to be like that. I want to be able to learn from everybody around me, whether they're doing good things or bad things.
Right. Yeah. That's that's a good way. That's another experience that I didn't know we really had in common either. Was our parents splitting up when we were younger.
Oh
That
yeah,
happened to me as well. And
yeah.
yep, it can be rough, and especially when you're young and things like
Well, it's
that. So
unfortunate, and there's so many people out there that come from a childhood of divorce,
yeah.
and you learn to deal with that, and you just hope that you can avoid making those same mistakes, with your
Yep.
marriage, with your family as you grow up and develop.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. And learning from other people's mistakes is a part of my morals and stuff as well. So appreciate you sharing that. I know sometimes it can be difficult to talk about those things. So
Well, it's not too hard for me. My life's kind of an open book. I just I let people know everything there is to be about me, whether it's good or bad, and
yeah,
and I try not to be too ashamed of the actions I've made because they're my actions, and I got to take responsibility for them,
yeah,
whether they were shiny or pretty ugly.
yeah. So what about your journey to becoming a content creator and an envoy, Ron? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it was it was similar to a lot of people. I was working with my alliance and trying to help them out because I was watching so many other content creators, and I felt like I had the inside track on a lot of things. So I was explaining things to my alliance and helping them out. And I started doing what we called roster roast at the time, which I was looking over their war defenses because there was no Cruise, it was just war.
Right.
And I would look over their war defenses, which were very simplistic at the time, not these novels that we have now. And I would make fun of them, and the alliance loved it. They got a real kick out of it. I just made jokes about it. And then I remember watching Mobile Gamer unlocking Ultron and cackling with laughter and having such a great time. And I thought, I really want to do that. And so
Mhm.
somebody said, hey, you should make, this roster roast into a video.
Mhm.
And so I went live, and I was astounded that 20 some people showed up to my first stream, which was
Nice.
mostly my alliance supporting me.
Yeah.
I really thought I was going to turn the camera on and have like two viewers, my wife and my own cell phone. And and so they showed up, and I made a roster roast video of somebody's defense, and
Mhm.
it was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
And I had so much fun doing it. Like it was basically a high. I really was like high from it.
Right.
And then after We turned the cameras off and everything. I came down from that like coming off of hard drugs, and I crashed. And
Oh
that was a
wow.
very scary moment because no one ever talks about this. But
Mm-hmm.
when you first start streaming and making content, you can experience some really big highs and
Right.
some really big lows.
Yep.
And I was not prepared for that. And so if for those of you who are thinking about making content and going live on Twitch and going live on YouTube and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
you should definitely be prepared for the emotional roller coaster that is being in front of people like that, whether it's a good experience or bad experience. It goes up and down.
Yep.
I almost immediately quit streaming after my first stream because I was so scared of that intense emotional reaction, which I was unprepared for.
Yeah.
Luckily, I didn't. And the next time I was a little more prepared for it. And of course, now it's nothing to turn it on. In fact, every time I hit the go live button, I just prepare myself to have a great time because I always do. Chat just cheers me up. We have lots of fun laughing, and it's a great experience.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome. All right. So, do you have any influences that has like kind of you leaning towards one way or the other from like other content creators that kind of made you go towards one way or the other for your content?
Oh, absolutely. Uh, Almost everything I do is stolen from somebody else. I will say that right out, right up front. I have recently gotten some ideas from other content creators of like they talk about stuff that maybe they'd like to try or suggest things that I should try, and I have recently gotten some kind of fresh ideas, but it's still coming from somebody else. But like if you look at the recap is just a shortened version of what Mobile Gamer does, and rather than
Right.
focusing more on Reddit and the offers, I focus more on YouTube and the other content creators. However, it's kind of a newscast, right?
Right.
I sit in front of the window, and the original came from I believe it was Colin and Michael from the Saturday Night Live news skit where they bring up news
Okay.
clips and tell jokes about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where that comes from. All of the defense up started as a roast of people's defenses, which is nothing new, right?
Right.
And I think that like everything I try to do, even character sketches, I see somebody do something and I say, wow, that looks like fun. I wonder if I could recreate it or do it as well as them or even better.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of my goal. Early on, someone said when you first start making content, make the kind of content that you enjoy watching. And that means you're going to be replicating a lot of people.
Right.
And then once you get good at creating that kind of content, then you start adding your own flavor to it and see if you can take it to a new level. And that's where I'm at now,
Okay.
is trying to take some of this content to a new level. And I do have some ideas that I'm starting to work on that are completely my own. And I'm a little nervous because they're so radically different
Okay.
from anything anybody else is doing and anything I've ever done before.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of scary as a content creator, putting yourself out there like that, because
Yeah.
if everybody laughs at me and it gets like no views or anything, it's going to be hard for me,
Right.
internally to either
Right.
decide, did I enjoy doing this and do I want to continue?
Right.
Or do I want to pivot or do I want to, back away, pivot to something else? I like to make content that I enjoy.
Right.
The recap is a short video, and it doesn't get, I don't make a lot of money off of it because it doesn't make that 8.5 minute mark where you get the
Right.
mid-roll ads or any of that. But I enjoy making it so much that even if I couldn't monetize that video, I would still keep recording it.
Right. And I think you've said the same about Defense Up too. Like it doesn't get very many views or as many views.
Oh, right.
But you still like doing
it gets
it.
half as many views as the recap. And now that's, usually a 10-minute video
Right.
that I can get a little bit more monetization off of,
Right.
but it just doesn't get the numbers. And I think maybe a lot of that is actually to do with the thumbnail. I mean, I think that the information there is solid. I think that the video is good. I rewatch all my own content, and I come from it from a perspective of, would I enjoy watching this if it were somebody else? And if I don't enjoy what I'm seeing, I won't continue making those. I enjoy watching those defense up videos. I enjoy watching the recap. I even enjoy watching my own streams.
Yeah.
Now, just so people know, I'm not a total narcissist. I don't just sit there all day watching myself.
Yeah.
I actually play them like a podcast and listen to them for errors and mistakes
Yeah.
and for things I want to clip out. But I do enjoy watching what I make. And so that's why I will keep making it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So when we were first starting to talk about this has been quite a work in progress for us to get together with our schedules and stuff, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
illnesses and everything. But I was doing a little bit of my research on some of your older stuff, and those roster roasts were pretty funny. So
Oh
I
man,
did
they
like
were
those.
brutal. Did you see me swinging around in my chair because I'm so nervous? I had to put a pin in my chair so I'd stop rocking in it because I had that nervous habit.
Anything else you want to discuss about like your other real life interests or other things you like to do outside of gaming?
I'm a normal person with normal interests. For me, I like real estate and property management. I like remodeling homes. I like doing construction projects. I love to weld. I love to work with wood. And I've recently had a little bit of an uptick. Well, you know what? I'm going to keep that one a secret. Actually,
Okay.
that's got stuff to do with other projects. So
Okay.
I'm going to keep that one to myself for right now. But there's
Cool.
some things that I do enjoy. The
Hmm.
biggest thing for me is my family time. That's the most important time for me.
Right.
I'm the type of person, I'll put my phone in a drawer and I'll go hang out with my kids and make sure that they understand that whatever time I spend with them, that is the most important part of my day. That's really important for me. I didn't get a lot of that when I was growing up. My
Right.
parents were the type that sent me outside and literally locked the door
Cool.
so that they could be by themselves. And I
Yeah.
don't want to do that with
Yeah.
my kids. I want to be outside with them. So that's really important to me. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, as far as real life interests and stuff, I'm a pretty normal guy. I took a job at a hardware store because I love working with tools, and
Okay.
I do enjoy helping people who are interested in helping themselves. So that's a great place for me to work.
Awesome. Well, to kind of finish it off here, a couple of MCU questions here for you. Who do you think are the best and the worst MCU villains?
Best and worst MCU villains. Okay, as for worst, it could pretty much be anything in Phase 4. I'm so absolutely over Phase 4 of the MCU right now.
Yeah.
It has gotten to ridiculous proportions. I don't understand why Disney and Marvel don't pivot away from this. They've seen the numbers of their stuff. They've
Mm.
seen the criticisms and everything, and it's just out of control how they keep destroying our stories. And the characters are so ridiculous, so on the nose, and
Yeah.
it's frustrating to me because there have been a lot of good characters that Disney has kind of destroyed for me,
Yeah.
and I'm so just over it. Wanda as a villain
Yeah.
could have been really cool,
Mm-hmm.
but like in like WandaVision, she acts like it's okay to enslave an entire town because she's grieving and that's supposed to be all right. Like
Yeah.
that bothers me. And then half the show she's like doesn't understand what's going on, and then all of a sudden, and this is a spoiler alert if you haven't seen WandaVision, close your ears. But toward like the second third of the show, she just walks outside of the town and talks to the authorities, and she's like, if you ever bother me again, you'll regret it, showing that she's fully aware of what she's doing, and it doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and 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 they keep telling us how we're supposed to feel about these characters instead of allowing us to
True.
feel the way we want to feel about these characters, and it's
Yep.
really frustrating.
Yeah.
Um, I guess the best villain for me, and this isn't like a big thing, would be Thanos from the first Infinity War
Okay.
movie.
Mm-hmm.
Not in the second one so
Right.
much. He got a little
Mhm.
watered down in the second one.
Yeah.
Probably be it.
Okay. Awesome. All right. And then, is there? My question is, what future MCU projects are you looking forward to? But maybe it should be, are there any MCU projects that you're looking
Uh,
forward to?
so I would say that I mean I don't have high hopes for anything right now. Um, we heard what I don't know if you've heard, but I've heard some things about what they want to do with the next 3 Star Wars movies, and I'm like,
Mm.
are you kidding me? Haven't you had enough of this? But um, I am interested to see how they handle bringing together the Avengers and the X-Men.
Mm.
We've
Mm.
seen some of the trailer clips at the ends of TV shows, and I'm not sure how excited I feel about that.
Right.
So I'm interested in seeing how they destroy this.
Right.
I think they're going to ruin it. I think they're going to screw it up.
Mm.
But for me, that's excuse me. But for me, that's something that I want. I'm interested in seeing. I just don't have high hopes for it,
Yeah.
unfortunately. It's
No.
that everything's just been going downhill so much. It feels like it's a cash grab,
Mhm.
and it feels very agenda driven, unfortunately, instead of just good storytelling. I want to be entertained. I don't want to be pushed into someone's ideals or beliefs.
Right, right. Well, I hope that Deadpool 3 is the beginning of the turnaround for for things, but
You know
we'll
what?
see.
That might be a good one.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds has had enough influence over some of these films that he's been involved in that they've
Yeah.
come out pretty good. So I do have high hopes for that one.
Yep. So maybe we'll see a turnaround starting with that one. Only time will tell on that, I guess. But well,
Yep.
thanks for being on. Appreciate it a lot. Thanks for your time. And any other last things to say here?
No, just stay tuned. I got a lot of good things in the works, a lot of irons in the fire. I think March is going to be a big month for me with some of the
Nice.
releases that I have planned. But mostly, I'm just enjoying the ride, and I love it when people come hang out and have a good time. Like you join me on Voice a lot of times
Yep.
on stream, and it always brings a smile to my face to have my friends come join me and play video games together with friends, and that's what I want to continue doing.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me on today. I've enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Well, if you haven't already followed, you probably are. If you're following me, you're probably following Ron. But if you haven't, make sure you go check him out. And until next time, I guess we'll see y'all later.